guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Paseka J Mqabasi, and as I promised that I'll be making a video about the inequalities in the city of Cape Town. Cape Town is one of the largest cities in South Africa after Johannesburg, and is the most beautiful, attracting a lot of tourists every year to visit South Africa, but it comes with its own challenges. I've stayed in the northwest, I've stayed in Gauteng, which is like Johannesburg and Pretoria, and I would say also I stayed here in Cape Town, and I would say that Cape Town is the city that has the most inequalities, where you see the richest of the rich, and then you also see the poorest of the poor. And there's a reason behind this. That's why I want you, to keep following. Watch this video till the end, because I'm also gonna give you the historical background. Look at the buildings, look where the rich live, look where the poor people live. And most of the poor people, obviously, they are the blacks and also the colored people, maybe the colored community. But mostly you'll see, especially living in these shacks, you find most black people living here. Yes, I would say that some of them, a certain percentage of them, are immigrants coming from other African countries and coming to maybe hustle here in South Africa, but some of them are still South Africans, still struggling, still living in these shacks, still living in this condition. And there's a reason behind that, and all this is a legacy of apartheid. For those who do not know what apartheid is a time in South Africa where the white minority ruled the black majority. They ran the country, they had all the power and everything else that they needed, and then they acquired land, they moved people from their land and took the land from the black people, so that's what happened during the apartheid era. So just to give you the background and the background of where all this started, I'll just like to read the history of South Africa to you so that you can understand. And it says, during apartheid era, many parts of the country were designated white areas. In Cape Town, South Africa, the white areas span out of the inner business district, where they also control and maintain economical and political power. This apartheid era effectively meant the removal of blacks in inner city. This created a spectrum of black in the city. This created a spectrum of less color as you move in towards the city. This also meant that the larger population would be assigned to poorer schools, neighborhoods, and such with less than adequate resources and funds. These neighborhoods were then called townships. We have a lot of townships here in South Africa, in Cape Town, where you find mostly either coloreds who live in the Cape, coloreds in the Cape Flats, and then blacks who live in the township. The township consists of poorly arranged and cramped metal shacks, which are woven in by the excessive laundry lines and power cables, which set fire to the neighborhoods on the regular, devastating people who already have very little. Following the end of apartheid, government organizations have stepped in to offer projects related to housing, plumbing, and so forth. The government housing has been called out for being cookie cutter, like in comparison the two-story glass escapes homes that fills the Jewish neighborhoods of Camps Bay, which overlooks the ocean and Table Mountain. So yes, guys, during the apartheid era, obviously blacks were removed from the land that was valuable, and the coloreds were removed from land that were valuable, and they were designated to poorer land. They lived in poor land, maybe because also especially colored people and black people, they are the majority in Western Cape, but still you find out that they live in areas that are poor. They live in cramped spaces, And then the other reason for the inequality and the shacks that you see in Cape Town is because also of like immigration. There's a lot of people immigrating. Others are coming from other provinces in the country, and because they find work here, and maybe the work is not paying like enough to be able to afford proper housing, they end up like being in those townships and erecting those shacks, and other people maybe immigrating from outside South Africa, from other African countries, they also join in, erect shacks and all that. So that's the reason in Cape Town you can just drive around not far, maybe you just drive 5 kilometers, 8 kilometers, you can see a rich neighborhood. You drive another 5 kilometers, you see a poor neighborhood. You understand? So I believe the government has been trying to solve this, but I believe they are not doing enough, and I'm just hopeful that in the future things will get better. But another thing that I would say and I would advocate for maybe is if we try to change the government of this country, and elect a new government. Maybe I'm not trying to say, okay, elect this one or this one. You can make up your mind who you want to elect, because we really need change in this country. Just look at this place. This area here is called Breikenfeld. You mostly find maybe white people living in this area, though you have some colored and you also have black people maybe who have risen to the middle class. They are and they're earning, and then they are able to afford this kind of houses. I used to live in this area. I still live in Breikenfeld, just a different area. I used to live in this area, but I did not have a nice house like these ones. I had an apartment. We had an apartment that we were renting out in this area. So it's a beautiful area, but when people hear you saying, yo, I'm at Cape Town, they assume that you are in this beautiful place. Everything is so sweet and it's so nice, but there's a possibility that you might be here in Cape Town and you find out that maybe you are among the poorest of the poor. So it's so heartbreaking that maybe you're in a taxi, you are driving around, you see all these nice places and all that, but you are not able to afford. Because another thing about Cape Town is that Cape Town is very, very, very expensive. It's expensive here. Housing is expensive, renting is expensive, food is expensive. So as you can see, these on the side here, these are what we call the Cape Flats. Mostly in areas like this you find colored people, and when I say colored people, I mean the mixed race community. Some of them, they don't like being called coloreds, and some of them, they embrace the word colored. So yeah, it just depends on who you are talking to. So here in the apartheid era, obviously in South Africa is segregated. The coloreds lived in their own area, blacks lived in their own area, whites lived in their own area, Indians lived in their own areas. So that's how the apartheid arrange things. And when you come to Cape Town, most things have not changed. It's still like that. You still have your colored communities, your black communities, you still have your white communities where you find a lot of rich people and all that. But when you move to other parts of the country, obviously Joburg and Pretoria, the Northwest and other places, obviously it's not like this. Many things have changed, because you mostly in South Africa you find a lot of white people in Cape Town and not so much in other parts of the country. So in other parts of the country, obviously you see a rising middle class of black people, colored people and so on, maybe living in good houses and stuff like that. But in Cape Town, most of the time when you are in an affluent neighborhood, the majority of people living there will be white. So yeah, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done in South Africa, but I believe that one day things will change. So as I said, these are what we call the Cape Flats, mostly where you find colored people. And then there's other places also where you find mostly like black people, and then you find out that most of that, then it's like shacks, and townships, smaller houses and stuff like that. And all that happened because of apartheid. So just continue watching this video, guys, and tell me what you think at the end. Tell me what you think should be done. Just look at this poor neighborhood. Obviously this place is called Kryfontein. Kryfontein. So most of these communities, obviously came about after, even some of them even after apartheid. Maybe, as I said, people immigrating from other provinces come here, they cannot afford housing, they start like maybe building these shacks and stuff like that, so that they can have a place where they can sleep and then go to work. As I said, some of them, they might be working, but they are not able to afford. Maybe they are earning just a little just to survive, to buy food, just to help out the family, to take their child to school, and stuff like that. So yes, guys, look at these places and where we were driving before. There's a huge difference, so, but this is still Cape Town. Obviously we don't see this one a lot, but this is still Cape Town. But Cape Town is still amazing. The people are amazing, and in Cape Town you find mostly the black people. The majority are Xhosa, the Xhosa tribe, and then you obviously said you find the colors, you find just a little bit of the Indian community, and then obviously the majority also is the colored community, and then followed by the white community. So guys, please remember to subscribe, click on the notification bell, and then I will update you as we continue. I'll show you other neighborhoods. If you enjoyed this video, please tell me on the comment section. I can make another video. Thank you so much for watching, and then please continue watching, and then you'll tell me what you think.
Refreshing.